So this is a welcome to my channel. The first topic that I'm going to discuss is going to be on insecurity. Alright, so I want to discuss insecurity in high school because I think that it's something that everybody goes through. I think that's pretty much known. In high school, it's really a constant struggle of comparing yourself to others, and there's always those typical people that say, don't care what other people think, don't worry about other images that you see of perfection in the media. If you be yourself and if you smile, smile is beauty, so don't worry. But those things really, to someone who's really insecure, they don't mean anything. They just are words, and they can't really be taken in effect when you feel like someone is staring at you, you hear someone whisper about you and you're not really sure if it's about you or not, and you just kind of replay that in your head thinking it is. What I want to discuss is how you get through all that crap. I can see what I went through and think people went through way worse. Struggled with extreme acne, maybe a disorder. There's all sorts of things that you can deal with that, maybe you weren't even sensitive about before until high school came. For me, basically, I began over-accepting how I looked. I was going to use who I was to the best of my ability. And yeah, this is exactly who I am, what I look like. So I was really tall. I wasn't afraid to wear heels. I was really skinny, very skinny. So I'd wear tight, form-fitting clothing that would accentuate how skinny I was. And it was almost like a challenge because I felt like people were staring at me. I felt that all the time. Feeling that judgment in high school was one of the worst things. But once you start to believe that you are fine the way you are because you don't hide under baggy clothes, which is something I used to do, being skinny. I used to wear big, huge clothes thinking that, that would make me look bigger. I wouldn't look as skinny. I'm actually wearing baggy clothes right now, but it's only because it's so warm. Cold. You're doing something to rebel against what other people might think of you. You exaggerate what you already think other people might think of you as something that's wrong. You go show them that thing that's wrong about you is an asset. With acne that might get bullied about that might think, what are you talking about? I'm not going to show that this is an asset or something like that. But maybe if you have acne, you don't even wear makeup because you're sensitive that if you wear makeup, it could be bad for your acne. It could just look like you're covering up. I know there's tons of makeup that can be used even for people with acne, really bad acne, even cystic acne. Taking that pride in your appearance is a big thing. And I'm not talking about covering up with makeup. Wear some really crazy eye makeup or something and just whatever, just expressing yourself, not kind of hiding, being like, acne is all I have on my face. If you're not into makeup, obviously that's not the only choice. I'm just kind of talking about things that can just express who you are and not make yourself feel like that's the only thing that should be focused on. When you internalize what other people think of you or what you think they think of you, it shows. It completely shows because you change your behavior because of that. When I started wearing sweatpants under my jeans so that my legs looked bigger, I was internalizing what people thought of me and changing my behavior and therefore making myself feel more insecure, not less insecure. Changing things to make other people happy, which obviously is not the case. It's not like they're going to be happy once I'm not skinny. It's just to please others. It doesn't make any sense. Those people really don't care. They don't care at all. They're not at home thinking why is she so skinny? Or why does that girl have so much acne? It's so weird. She has so much acne. Or why is that guy so short? I don't get it. He's so short. Most guys are taller than that. People don't do that. They just, in times of their own insecurities, they see something off of the perception of beauty that is shown in magazines, and they will target that and comment on it. That's all it is. It's a comment. They're forcing me to overthink about things about myself. The bullying was especially difficult because complaining about getting bullied about being skinny, people will give you shit for that. Because it's why are you complaining about that? You're naturally skinny. Shut up. And I'd have girls around me that would say, I have such thunder thighs, or, who really didn't. and say like, oh, I'm just feel so fat today, and I'd say something like, want to join the insecurity little discussion, saying, yeah, like I don't like that my wrists are so thin, and they'd say, shut up, Kira, you're so skinny, shut up. Basically, my point is, just to get to 3 points, is you don't internalize what other people think of you by expressing the most you can what they think is wrong about you. If you're skinny like me, show off that you're skinny. Get some heels and you'll look taller, and that will accentuate your skinniness. Wear vertical stripes. It'll accentuate your thinness. You're proud of who you are. If you feel like you get a hard time for like being a little heavier than other people, like just relish in the curves that you have. You can wear jeans like no other. Your butt will look like nobody else's, and you accentuate that. It doesn't mean that you won't get these snide remarks like, oh, why is she wearing those, jeans that are so tight? She's really showing off her butt. Well, you do that. Go for it. So along with over accepting how you look, that helped me was knowing those people don't care. They don't care. And it's almost like this thought that you might have that those people are spending their time thinking about how you're so weird. They just think about it all the time. No, they don't. They're thinking all about themselves. That's what they're thinking about. You are just a little blip on their radar that they can just make a passing comment at. I mean, you can be sorry for those people. Their lives are pretty miserable if they have to do that. And especially if they don't feel any regret for that. That's hard to take in too, because it's hard to just feel like, oh, I'm sorry for that person who is, treating me like something they scraped off their shoe. And the people that are spending time thinking about you are extreme bullies that have a psychological problem because they are targeting you. And that's when it gets like into dangerous territory. And that's when it gets out of, this video in terms of, because since I'm just talking about insecurity, not bullying, I'm only just touching on it. So there's those two things. There's the over accepting. There is the realizing they don't care as much as you think they do. Nobody cares. And 3, there's always that idea that it gets better, and that is especially like a something for people who are going through much, much more difficult, going through extreme bullying, extreme depression, and they'll hear those comments and they mean nothing. Well, in this case with insecurity, it still applies when people say it gets better. And the thing is it's just absurd looking back on it. I know that I felt that way, but I should have said to those people who gave me a hard time, the one kid who said if I got pregnant, I would die because I would just break in half from the weight. Things like that. I should have stood up for myself and didn't. Sometimes you can't. But every day in dealing with this struggle is one less day that you have to, because high school is not the world. And don't take that into the real world, because in the real world, that's when things get pretty great. College is great. And I think a lot of people agree with that sentiment. You just have to, when you take those two ideas of staying strong by not just spending all your time, your energy thinking about what they must think of you, also expressing who you are. I mean, the biggest example of that for me was my brother. Anytime I saw someone give him a little look, point at him, I wanted to run over there and say, you don't even know him. My brother's my best friend. And people treating him like that made me so angry. But he didn't care. He did not care. He was almost amused by that. He thought, that's kind of like what I expect, and they don't get it. He was a total punk rocker. Mohawk up to here, you'd wear all black, cool patches, everything. The vest, you get people like, you're a goth, you're emo, you're depressed, you do drugs. None of that. Brother listened to some awesome punk, dressed the way he wanted to, was straight edge, one of the nicest people you would ever meet in your life. And still, people judged him. He over-accepted, he over-embraced things about himself. He wore, tight jeans. He was just as skinny as I was. When you're wearing all black, which slims you, it really shows that off. My brother didn't care. He didn't hide. And he had so many friends people really just adored him. And it's because that confidence shines through when you just don't care. And you're like, yeah, this is me, and it's great. And if you don't see that, that's your problem, not mine. So that's the end of my video. I hope you enjoyed it, and thanks for watching.